Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lisa's Losing It, because I'm losing it. Okay, this has been an exceptionally rough month. Very rough month. Just a lot of stress and a lot of emotions, and the emotions are because of the stress, and just it has just been a month. So I was pleasantly surprised when I hopped on the scale this morning to find out that I am down 49 pounds. I'm a pound away from being halfway to my goal. Because I started this when I had the surgery, I was 278 pounds, and my goal is to get down to 178. It might go a little lower, it might not. It might go a little higher. It really depends, and it depends on a lot of different things. But I was super excited. I was like, oh my gosh, 49 pounds. Okay, I kind of want to do the jig, running around the house. Couldn't wait for Phil to wake up so I could tell him, oh, right? And at one point he goes, you're going to weigh less than me. And I said, that, my love, is the goal. That is the goal, right? Bless his heart, he's loved me fat from the get-go. Fattest, back down to now. So I'm super stoked about all of this. But this time I said I would bring measurements, and I have not been all over my measurements. Thought I would be. I'm not. I'm as bad at the measurements. I'm worse at the measurements than I am at getting on the scale, quite honestly. The first time I took my measurements was October 19th. So that was almost a month after I had my surgery, right? And then the next time was on October 30th. And now today, what is today? What is today? Today is January 27th, I think. So yeah, these are the measurements. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what I was the last time and what I was this time. And, my neck measured at 14 and a half, and it's still 14 and a half. Now, they don't measure the chin, that's for sure, but you can see my neck now, whereas you couldn't before. My chest was 50 and a half, and it went down to 48 and a half, so minus 2 inches in my chest. And my waist, this was the gold star of the entire thing, right? My waist in October was 49 and a half, and it is now 45. I lost 4.5 inches off my waist. Super happy. My hips were 49 and a half. They're now 49. They went down a half. My left forearm was 10 and a half. It stayed the same. My right forearm, 11. It stayed the same. Phil wasn't around to measure my biceps for me, but I'm going to assume they're pretty much the same also. I can't figure out how to measure my biceps on my own. I have no idea how to do that. Let's see. So my left thigh was 25, and it went down to 24 and a quarter, so I lost 3/4 of an inch there. And my right thigh was 25, and it went down a half an inch, so it's 24 and a half inches there. My left calf gained a half an inch, and my right calf gained an inch. What? Okay, my left ankle went up 1/4 of an inch, and my right ankle went down 1/4 of an inch. So, the measurements, there was one gold star. My waist, yes, okay. And, second gold, taking the silver is my chest, which honestly, I carry a whole bunch of my weight on the top half there. My chest enters the room moments before the rest of me, right? So, down 49 pounds, lost inches, and I'm doing my due. What was weird, and I'm trying to wrap my brain around it, like I said, very, very stressful month. And so, I've been working really hard to stay at 1,100 calories a day. And there have been days when it's just gone over. Now, I'm not talking, it hasn't gone to 1,700, right? But it's gone to 12 or 12 and a half. And when I really focus on it and I figure out, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I know where my weak points are, but then I kind of stagnate. The weight just holds in there. It just, no, we're going to be with you forever, right? And then the day that I'm like, you know what? I've had it. And Phil wanted macaroni and cheese for dinner, so I made macaroni and cheese for dinner for him. And I stole a couple forkfuls, right? And the next morning I'm down in weight. What? Okay, now I obviously went over my goal, even if it's only 2 spoonfuls. I went over my goal. I ate something that I really shouldn't have been eating. But like I told him the last time, I said, I'm trying not to do deprivation, but I am trying to be very cognizant of what I'm sticking in my mouth. So sometimes you just have to have that bite of macaroni and cheese because I make really good macaroni and cheese. Anyway, and you know, the 1 spoonful did it. 2 spoonfuls did it. And I was kind of like, okay, it was good. But when you do something like that, you kind of want it to be like earth-shatteringly good. It's like, I am going out on the limb here. I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do. And so this should be quite literally orgasmic, okay? And you take a bite and you go, yeah, okay, that's macaroni and cheese. Now what do I do? Okay, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. So I am coming to terms with some of that. Eating was a pastime. Eating was something to do. Focusing on not eating is now my pastime and my thing to do. And some days when you just had it with the world at large, that's a little more difficult to handle. It's cold. It is horribly cold. High winds today, but the sun's out, and it's just too cold to be out there. At least for me, it's too cold to be out there. So I'm in the house doing stuff. I'm still not being as physically active as I would like to be or think I should be, but I'm up and I'm moving. I'm figuring it out as I go, quite honestly. I would love to be a rock star and already be down like 75 pounds, but it's not slow and steady wins the race. I know that the activity is going to pay off for me. Like I was talking to Phil, I said, I can't believe, like, in my thighs, I lost 3/4 of an inch on one and 1/2 an inch on the other because I'm feeling stuff that I haven't felt in a long time, right? So it's moving around, it's changing, it's doing all its stuff. But I'm like, you know what? The minute spring hits, I'm going to be doing squats. I'm going to be running around the yard. I'm going to be doing lunges. I'm going to be incredibly physically active come spring. All through spring, all through summer, all through the fall. And we'll probably have to come to terms with the fact that I will need a gym membership come winter. But this winter, I'm not into the gym membership yet. I don't want to do it. It's like once I get there, I love walking on the treadmill. I just put in in this case, my headband. I crank up the tunes that I want to listen to, and I just walk, and it takes you uphill and downhill, and you sweat like a banshee, and it's a beautiful thing. So I enjoy that part of it. I don't enjoy driving to it, driving back from it, I don't enjoy that part of it. And there is no room around here for a treadmill. There is no room. So that is not really an option. I'm going to have to look at a few different things. Anyway, so that is where I am at. That was my inches update. I think I'm supposed to update you on something else. I said also that I would bring you some ideas for the folks that are thinking about getting bariatric surgery. I think I will add these into videos moving forward as I think about them. Like I mentioned last week, do not pre-buy a ton of your bariatric shakes, right? The Fairlife or the Premier Protein or whatever the case. Don't. Number one, I swear to you, your taste will change. I know mine did. I liked the strawberry one before. Couldn't stand it afterwards from Premier Protein. A couple of the Premier Protein ones, I couldn't stand at all afterwards. The Fairlife, I still like all of them, so I'm good there. But your taste will change. And I've read stories from other people who say that they could not stomach them at all afterwards. So be aware of that. If you really like them, maybe get a few to see you for the first few weeks after surgery, and then determine which ones you still like. That's a big one. Now, whether or not your doctor recommends it, okay? And every single doctor has different programs, different ways that they approach it, different things that they do. I just found out that my doctor only does VSG surgeries, which is what I had, vertical sleeve gastrectomy. That wasn't the case before, but apparently they've switched over to that because somebody that I know called and she was interested in doing a different kind of surgery, and they don't do it. So now she's got to find a different doctor. But do not stock up on those. Definitely do get a belly band. Now, it is an elastic band, okay, that you wear around your stomach. And my surgical staff only recommended a pillow. They said, bring a pillow with you. You can hold it against you on the drive home, and it won't hurt as much. Okay. I call BS. And I will call BS whenever I think that it's appropriate to call BS. That was a big one. Get a belly band. I'll put a link down below for what they are. If you are thinking about getting the surgery, get a belly band. I mean, what I went through one night trying to get out of bed shortly after the surgery, the pain that I was in could have been completely eliminated had I had a belly band. I mean, completely eliminated. So, get one. If you're thinking about getting the surgery, get one, okay? And like I said, I'll put a link down below. Holy Hannah. I mean, night and day. What it does is it's not... You've got these stitches on your stomach, right? These incisions on your stomach. And so you're very sore from that. And you move. And I mean, especially when you're talking about, you know, fat, it jiggles, it moves, or it doesn't, and you're not cognizant of it. So like rolling over in bed, you may not realize right now, pay attention when you go to bed. You may not realize that when you go to roll over, that it's pulling on that skin. That is, you know, doing that kind of thing. And that's, you can't do that after surgery. So a belly band makes it so that it contains it, but it's not so restrictive that it's painful, okay? It's just enough to contain it. I put a shirt on and then put the belly band over it so that I wasn't rubbing it up against the stitches. I did that before I went to bed at night because I didn't find out about it until significantly after the surgery, like into my second week, I think. And I think that would have been night and day difference in how I recovered from the surgery. Now, I didn't recover poorly, but that was so painful. It was just so unbelievably painful. So, belly band, like I said, link down below. Bariatric silverware and bariatric plates and bowls. I bought them, okay. And they might be good for starting off with. The plate has served no purpose at all. So, I haven't used it once, not even once. And what it does is it's divided in three. So figure a pie, it's half a pie and then 2/4, right? And one is supposed to be protein and the other vegetables and the other starch. I couldn't put enough food on that plate in my wildest dreams. And I'm 19 weeks post-op, I think. So, yeah, that plate, useless. The silverware that came with it was stupid. So, it was just stupid. I sent it to the thrift store. But the little silverware that I ordered, I'll put that link down below, came in a little pack, and it was 2 forks, 2 spoons. I honestly don't know if there's a knife in there, but 2 forks and 2 spoons. I do still use those. On occasion, if it's something that I want to be very cognizant about how much I'm putting in my mouth at one time, I definitely use those. I've gotten pretty, you know, good at using regular silverware because your mouth can only hold so much and your stomach can only hold so much. So, but for starting out, I think it's a really great tool visually to figure out that your portion sizes, even if it's a spoonful, need to be significantly smaller. So I do think that was helpful. I'll put a link down below for those. I think if it said bariatric, I bought it. Seriously, because I wanted to make sure that I succeeded at this. I am hell-bent on making sure that I succeed at this. And so I wanted all the tools I could think of, right? Measuring cups, yes. I picked up a container of, they were measured out amounts. I'll put a link down below, but I'm going to say that for the most part, if you have measuring cups and containers, which I'll speak about in a minute, that you are good to go and you don't need these. They were helpful in the beginning because your idea of a cup and the reality of a cup might be different. A half a cup might be different, you know. So that might get used to, but literally it was a couple of weeks and I sent those to the thrift store because they were more trouble for me than they were worth. For you, it might be a completely different thing. Meal prep dishes. Highly recommend meal prep dishes. I'll put a link down below for the ones that I'm using. I've got two different kinds that I'm using. One is they're glass, number one, but one has 3 separate sections in it, and so that's good if you want to keep certain things separate, right? And the other ones are some Pyrex bowls that have lids on them that are in different sizes and shapes, and those work out good for meal prep. Both of them work out good for meal prep. I'm not to the point yet where the one with the 3 different sections is really effective for me. I know I can normally only fill 2, you know, but I think moving forward as the warm weather starts coming in that it will be used a lot more. But the other ones I use constantly all the time. And when I fill a bowl of soup, I get myself one of the small cups of soup. You know, I could probably eat more, but I shouldn't. So I get myself literally a physical 8-ounce cup of soup. If I have soup. I haven't had soup in a while. Because that kind of falls in the liquid calories part and freaks me out because I figured out when I made, it was a broccoli, cheddar, ham, and bacon soup. And I'm like, okay, it's high in protein, right? And when I sat down and figured out how much all the different things were, I went, wow, that was a lot of carbs for very little food. And kind of bummed me out because it's my all-time favorite soup. But, yeah. So you have to watch that. So I'll put links to some of the stuff that I talked about down below. But I won't put a link to the one that I said is a complete waste of time and space. Now, some people need a visual reminder. And so they do have a bariatric plate and bowl set out there that it kind of looks like a kid's, you know, plate and bowl set. But it has the colors, it has the drawings on it, and how much should be this and that. And I've seen some people use it in different videos, you know. It's not something that I'll ever use, so I didn't get it. Because I realized after I got the one that I did that it's not something that I'm ever going to use. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. I'd rather grab a measuring cup, measure it out, put it on my plate. It's easier, you know, because I want to be aware of the calorie intake and I want to be aware of how much. So when they say that 3 ounces of meat is typically the size of a deck of cards, they're serious. They're very serious. And the meat will blow your mind at how different. I mean, get whatever food tracking app that you've got, right? And figure out, look at 3 ounces of chicken breast versus 3 ounces of ground beef versus 3 ounces of pork butt. It's significantly different in caloric intake and protein intake. It's amazing. There are some that sit better with you. There are some that don't. That's something that you have to work with. One thing that I will share that I'll probably share again, because I had a really good dietitian. We kind of butted heads a little bit about the belly band, but I had a good dietitian who would take the time to explain things to me, because I don't want you just to tell me no. I want you to tell me why. And so she did that, and she knew that I was somebody who canned up a lot of foods. And they say no red meat for 6 months, at least in my program. And I asked her, I said, why is that? Why no red meat for 6 months? I mean, I'll make it, not a problem, but why? And she goes, because red meat tends to be drier and it can get stuck. It can get stuck. And so it causes, you know, a multitude of issues, discomfort, you name it. And I'm like, okay, number one, I don't eat dry red meat. But, okay, because I know meat, I understand what you're talking about. Because Phil likes his stuff well done, shoe leather like, and that to me, that would get stuck and probably try to kill me like the eggs did. But the rest of it doesn't. But if the meat is not well done and it's moist and even if you can put like a little bit of gravy with it, it helps keep it moist and then it doesn't get stuck. There you go. I love knowing the why because there's always a way to work with that, you know. It's not just don't do it. No, this is why they prefer that you not do it. And I understand that and I appreciate it. And I did start eating red meat, but I was a month and a half or so into it before I did, because you're still healing. I'm 19 weeks out, I think, and my stomach is still healing. Your stomach is still healing, so you want to be very cognizant of the rules that they do give you to make sure that you're not going to mess anything up. On a good note, as a woman who owns 50 chickens, I can now eat eggs. Yes, I tried eggs again, and it was a beautiful experience, and I'm very happy. So I can eat eggs again because that egg catastrophe was horrible, and I was so bummed, but now I can eat eggs again. So, okay, so I hope these tips and tricks were helpful for my pre-bariatric people. And that was my 49 pounds, down 4.5 inches in my waist and 2 in my chest. Yeah, okay. We're killing it. We're killing it. It's going to be awesome. So I'll be back next week. I will discuss a few more tips and tricks with you, and we'll give you an update if there is one regarding my weight, and we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into. I am going to try to track, you know, on video, what I eat this week. I'm going to try, I said, okay? I wish I were exciting about this, but I'm not. I cooked country ribs. We were in the mood for country ribs, and so I cooked those up. And I cooked up enough that I literally ate country ribs every day this week. Every day. 4 ounces every day. But it's good. I like it. It's quick. It's easy. I don't have to think about it. I don't even have to heat it up, okay? So it was a no-brainer for me, and then I just switched things up for Phil. So meal prep can be kind of boring unless you require something different every single day. I don't. But I am looking forward to growing some vegetables and growing some lettuce and having a salad. I'm really looking forward to a salad. A lot. Okay, everybody, have a super great week. Let me know what you think. What do you think? Let me know what you think about suggestions. What suggestions? Have you been through the surgery? Throw your suggestions down below. Let's talk about them. Until next week, bye.